Hello, hello, hello. Status Coup. Jordan Sheridan live early on Tuesday, September 20th, the year 2022, which happens to be my birthday today. So happy birthday to me, and hope everybody's having a lovely day. We'll self promote my birthday throughout the show and grovel for super chats and other items. Let's wait for more folks to trickle in since we're a little bit early today. Smash that like button, share this live stream so more people can see that we're live. Got a lot to discuss, as new developments come out that I think all but guarantee. Obviously, people have been saying the walls are closing in on Donald Trump for a long time, but I think based on the information that's just come out, I'm pretty sure it's a slam dunk. He's going to be prosecuted, likely after the midterms, so they don't have to deal with talk of politicizing and all that. But we'll get to it because there's multiple new developments when it comes to Trump, the classified documents, all of that, and this is all happening at the same time that Trump seems to be clearly, I would say, going further than winking and nodding at QAnon. So we'll get into all that. Again, smash the like button, share this live stream, do it for your birthday boy, 36 years young. I'll tell you what, I don't know about you folks, I don't feel 36. I feel like a solid 45. I'm in a softball league. It's one of the few things I do outside of my job, for fun. I am 2 back surgeries in, and my final disc, just shooting the shit before more viewers come in. My final disc has that much space, my L5 at the bottom of my back, because I've had 2 back surgeries, and I won't get into the whole thing. So for those of you who have had back stuff, you could get really stiff with so little space in your final disc. So even though I do a ton of stretching before the game, during the game, after the game, Mondays after softball, forget it. I am stiff like a 95-year-old grandpa. But I digress. It could be worse. My health otherwise is okay. And what better way to spend a birthday with Status Coup viewers? Obviously live right now. Also be live later at the normal time, 5 o'clock Eastern. I'll wait till we got about 100 viewers, and then I'll trickle in. Then I'll start the show. Let me thank you, Chris. I got your email. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. Appreciate it. Hi from Denmark, Renee says. Free Assange now. Couldn't agree more. Happy birthday. Thank you, Robin. Appreciate it. Hope you get the massage you were after. Yes. My brother's actually got me a gift certificate for a massage. I'm going to do an hour and a half. I'm going to tell them to work on my lower back, my hips, my hamstring, my calf, my neck. I'll probably fall asleep. It'll be wonderful. 36, old man. Well, I do have a lot of miles on these tires, Ray. I do have a lot of miles on these tires. I've been traveling like a maniac for years. So again, smash that like button, share this live stream. We're a little bit early because I wanted to get to this Trump latest. So I'm not gonna go quite as far as saying,
ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
I'm not gonna go that far, but I think it's getting pretty close. I think it's getting pretty close to Donald Trump's definitely going to be indicted. Whether he's convicted, I don't know. But I think Donald Trump is definitely going to be indicted. And I'm going to tell you why. There's a couple new developments here. I'm going to save the biggest one for when we have more viewers. But I want to start with, remember, Trump and his team are the ones that asked for a special master. So Donald Trump asked for a special master to sort through the hundreds and hundreds of classified documents that he claims weren't actually classified, and to determine which documents are attorney-client privilege and can't be used by the government against him, which documents are just his personal records, and his his team has had shifting rationales and excuses since the raid on August 8th. First, they said they were not classified. They were all declassified by Trump's magic wave of a wand. And then he had different explanations. But now that the special master is in place, that both the Department of Justice and Trump's team agreed on, they don't seem to like the special master's timeline for resolving the issues of what documents can be used, what documents are classified, and which documents are not. So this was, let me read the filing, Colin. That's the link, the storage dot whatever. Let me read what Trump's lawyers filed late last night. Dear Judge Deary, who is the special master that they asked for, and you could full screen it. On September 16th, Your Honor invited the parties to the above captioned litigation to provide docketed letter with suggestions regarding the agenda for tomorrow's hearing before Your Honor. And that is tomorrow, meaning today. This letter was from yesterday. So Judge DOJ attorneys and Trump's attorneys are meeting with the special master this afternoon, today. Your Honor provided the parties with a draft case management plan by way of responding to the invitation for agenda topics and as an initial request for consideration of modifying the draft plan. The plaintiff states as follows. The district court's order indicates a presumptive end date of November 30th, meaning the special master basically wraps everything up by November 30th, sorting through what's classified, what's not, what's personal, what's not, what's protected by attorney-client privilege, what's not. This proposed calendar, circulated today to the parties only, compresses the entirety of the inspection and labeling process to be completed by October 7, 2022, which is relatively soon. We respectfully suggest that all of the deadlines can be extended to allow for a more realistic and complete assessment of the areas of disagreement. Along those lines, and to assure this court that the parties are operating with appropriate urgency, we would suggest a status conference in roughly 2 weeks to gauge how long the inspection process and rolling categorizations are taking, and to take a fact-based measure of the likely duration of these events. And they propose their proposed deadlines, which, in a nutshell, the Trump campaign wanted a special master to delay the process. Their agreed upon special master is actually trying to expedite the process, and they don't like it. They want to delay, and they are saying, oh, October 7th, that's too soon. We need more time to, deliberate on whether these documents are classified or not, which isn't going to take the special master that long, because it's pretty, it's pretty evident when a document is marked classified, unless they want to pretend that, this is fake and they belatedly put the classified markings on the documents. But there's another element here, because the judge, the special master, I think it was yesterday, basically called out the Trump and his lawyers' bluff. He called their bluff and said, since they have been making the case not in legal documents but out in media and to their friends at Fox and elsewhere, they've been making the case that he declassified everything. So the judge actually said, put forward evidence that you declassified all of this. Well, in the document, let me find the page so you could go to it, Colin. Here we go. This is page 3, Colin, if you could move to it. Otherwise, the special master process will have forced the plaintiff to fully let me read the first part of that. This is bottom of page 2, Colin. Similarly, the draft plan requires that the plaintiff disclose specific information regarding declassification to the court and to the government. We respectfully submit that the time and place for affidavits or declarations would be in connection with a Rule 41 motion that specifically alleges declassification as a component of its argument for return of property. Otherwise, the special master process will have forced the plaintiff to fully and specifically disclose a defense to the merits of any subsequent indictments without such a requirement being evident in the district court's order. Let me just break that down in English, because there's a lot of legalese going on. Oh yeah, Anat, bring down the gift you gave me. So I'll show people later. For those coming late, today is my birthday. So feel free to shower me with super chats, not to me personally, to Status Coup, as a birthday present. I humbly say I work pretty hard. So appreciate it on my birthday. Rocking the super chat. I'll be live. Obviously, I'm live now. We'll be live again normal time, 5 o'clock Eastern with Steve Grumbine on a whole lot of other things later today. So double the live stream today, right now, and at 5 o'clock Eastern. So let me find the tweet that I wanted to show. Colin, can we show the tweet from R. Goodman Law that says not a good look for Trump's aides in Mar-a-Lago docks? Not a good look for Trump's side in Mar-a-Lago documents. Special Master's draft case management plan apparently provided for them to assert if Trump declassified documents. Trump's team is resisting. Smells like they want to avoid lying to court. Won't make assertion. Fear of USC 10001. Yep. I'll show this later. Fear of USC 1001. What's interesting about that, keep that up, Colin. He goes on to say, in late 2021, former Trump White House lawyer and former prosecutor Eric Hirschman sought to impress upon Mr. Trump the seriousness of the issue and the potential for investigations and legal exposure if he did not return the documents, particularly any classified material. So basically, the special master is calling out Trump at his lawyer's bluff and essentially saying, you've been spewing in the media that this was all declassified. Well, legally, now you need to put your money where your mouth is and put it in writing. Present to me, the special master, which documents you are claiming are declassified. I don't think they want to do that because they know that's a foolish legal argument. B, he has no evidence that he declassified any of this. And 3, I guess he's saying that could be used as a defense for if and when he's indicted. But based on legal experts, as far as the laws that the DOJ is going after Trump for, it doesn't matter whether these documents were classified or declassified. The fact that he kept these documents even after he was subpoenaed for them and then misrepresented, meaning lied to the DOJ and the FBI that they were all returned, that is the important thing. Even if they were declassified, that does not get him out of legal trouble. And this is based on legal experts that have been responding as this has ensued. And keep those super chats coming. I'll read them at the end. So I want to read some more on this. This is Alan Weissman, who used to be a special counsel for the DOJ. Starts with Deary's response to Trump, Colin. Deary's response, Deary, the special master, Deary's response to Trump saying it can't answer as it's a possible trial defense is going to be either you are saying it now, meaning either you're saying it's declassified now or you are not. If you do not now want to claim you declassified the documents, that is fine and your choice, but then the documents are not being returned to you. So it seems that Trump's lawyers are not wanting to put in writing that these documents were declassified. The only thing that they have even remotely put in writing that alludes to them being declassified is in previous filings, they put in quotations, classified, casting doubt on whether they were declassified or not. But again, legally, to the letter of the law, even if they all were declassified, he still has criminal liability. And B, clearly they were not all declassified. You don't just wave a magic wand and, oh, declassified. Thank you for the super chat. I'm going to read them at the end, but I see the super chats coming in. Thank you so much. The super chats are not coming to me personally. It's coming to Status Coup. And we need your help. We want to continue our on-the-ground reporting. We're going to have some scheduling announcements coming up for our schedule for when I take a few months off. I'm going to be taking off probably November, some of November, all of December, some of January to full throttle work on the book I'm working on Flint. I'll talk about that a little bit more later, but keep those super chats coming and smash that like button. Right now, we got 320 people watching. Only 140 people, only 140 people have pressed that like button. So do me the honor of smashing that like button. So I want to read this Politico piece because it kind of sums up the special master calling Trump's bluff on, did you declassify these or not? And if you're claiming you declassified it, then present us evidence. This is from Politico. Trump discovers he's not in canon land anymore. And that's in reference to the judge who ruled in his favor for special master, who happened to be a judge that Trump appointed and happens to be on the short list for the Supreme Court. Donald Trump put the Justice Department on its heels, courtesy of a single federal judge who gave him the benefit of almost every doubt as he fought against the FBI's probe of documents seized from his Mar-a-Lago estate. Now his team of lawyers is preparing to test whether they can replicate their fortune in front of a potentially more skeptical audience. And the first indication offered in a filing on Monday night suggests a tougher road ahead. So this filing that Politico is referencing is the one I just read to you. The court-appointed special master reviewing documents the FBI seized during the August 8th search has asked the former president to disclose details about any materials he claims to have declassified before calling them his property. In a court filing Monday, Trump's attorneys urged Raymond Dearie, the senior federal judge based in Brooklyn, to drop a component of his plan that includes asking Trump for those details. Disclosing those during the review, Trump's attorneys said, was not a requirement of U.S. District Court Judge Eileen Cannon's order appointing Dearie as a special master. And they added, it could harm Trump's defense against any forthcoming criminal charges. Quote, the special master process will have forced the plaintiff to fully and specifically disclose a defense to the merits of any subsequent indictment without such a requirement being evident in the district court's order. Trump's team's comments came in response to a request from Dearie for a proposed agenda when he convenes the parties today, for a preliminary conference in his Brooklyn courtroom. And it wasn't their only gripe with Dearie's, quote, draft management plan for the Maralago review, which Trump himself demanded and for which his team picked Dearie as one of two acceptable options. Trump's team also raised concerns about Dearie's request for information about whether any subsequent Fourth Amendment litigation filed by Trump to reclaim the documents should be filed with the magistrate judge who authorized the search in the first place. And Trump's lawyers also quibbled with Dearie's proposed deadlines, contending that his draft plan, quote, compressed the entirety of the inspection and labeling process to be completed by October 7th, 2022. Basically, Trump's whole strategy here, to me, has been delay, 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 and delay some more. And there's, sensible reasons for that. Number one, it seems clear he's going to run for president again. It seems for now, Mitch McConnell and the Republicans in Washington have convinced him not to announce before the midterms because they could read polls and they know Trump is very unpopular, and Trump announcing his run for presidency, announcing his run for the president could ignite even more Democratic voter turnout. And obviously Democratic Party turnout right now, registration is going up and through the roof among women, obviously in response to the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade, and their overall Democratic Party registration has been going significantly up. So if you add on Trump announcing I'm running for president again before the midterms, that's just a gift to the Democratic Party if you're Mitch McConnell and the Republicans. So number two, in Trump's mind, I can't get in his mind. I don't think I'd ever want to be in his mind. But hey, if you actually announce and you're officially running and then you're going around doing your weird cockamamie rallies, and we played a clip of his weekend rally yesterday, but we'll play it again. If you haven't seen this, it is really fucking spooky and really deranged. What was going on at his rally. But that's a pretty good narrative you got there if you're Trump. Hey, as soon as I announced I'm running, they prosecuted me. It's the deep state against us. We're trying to save America, and they're trying to, keep me down and put me behind bars. That is quite legally, it probably wouldn't matter. But for a presidential run, boy, if he needed anything else to galvanize his base, actually running while being prosecuted, that would be terrific for him. And frankly, I think for the DOJ, not that it really matters legally, but it's not. It is a tough situation if he announces he runs and you then prosecute him. It helps him narrative wise, and then obviously what comes as a result of that, we're seeing the increased not only threats of violence, but actually acts of violence that have been carried out by Trump supporters. Attacks on the FBI happened in Cincinnati. There's been threats online where people have been arrested for threatening the FBI. You have really some of these rallies very much look like cult gatherings, which we're going to get to in a little bit. So I think Trump is very clearly trying to delay with the mindset of, well, if I'm running, it's going to be hard for them. And at least I have that as a narrative that, this is they're weaponizing the justice system to stop your leader from, making America great again. Right. So we've established that he's trying to delay. He agreed to this special master, but now essentially his lawyers are saying, oh, no, your deadline's a little too quick for us. A little too quick, these deadlines. But that wasn't the only major thing that's come out now. The New York Times has a new report that, to me, this is the key. This is absolutely essential to whether they're going to actually prosecute and win against Donald Trump. This new information. 1 second. Let me set it up here. Hold on. All right. New York Times headline: Trump was warned late last year of potential legal perils over documents. A former White House lawyer sought to impress on him the need to return material he had taken with him upon leaving office. A one-time White House lawyer under President Trump warned him late last year that Mr. Trump could face legal liability if he did not return government materials he had taken with him when he left office. 3 people familiar with the matter said. You got 3 sources. My strong guess is at least one of these sources is coming from the DOJ or the FBI, because the DOJ and the FBI are probably aware of this. The other 2 sources, who knows? Trump world is a cesspool. People are backstabbing each other, front stabbing each other. Who the hell knows? The lawyer, Eric Hirschman, sought to impress upon Mr. Trump the seriousness of the issue and the potential for investigations and legal exposure if he did not return the documents, particularly any classified material, he said. The account of the conversation is the latest evidence that Mr. Trump had been informed of the legal perils of holding on to materials that is now at the heart of the Justice Department criminal investigation into his handling of the documents and the possibility that he or his aides engaged in obstruction. In January, not long after the discussion with Hirschman, Trump turned over to the National Archives 15 boxes of material he had taken with him from the White House. Those boxes turned out to contain 184 classified documents, the Justice Department has said. But Trump continued to hold on to a considerable cache of other documents, including some with the highest security classification, until returning some under subpoena in June and having even more seized in a court-authorized search of his Mar-a-Lago residence and private club by FBI agents last month. The precise date of the late 2021 meeting between Trump and Hirschman is unclear. It was also unclear what, if any, awareness Hirschman had of what was in the boxes when the subject was discussed. But by then, the National Archives had told associates of Trump that it was missing documents like original copies of his presidential correspondence with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un and the letter left for him by President Obama. Archive officials said they had been told by then that if there were roughly 24 boxes of documents that had been in the White House residence and which qualified as presidential records, which had never been sent to the archives. By the time of the meeting, Mr. Hirschman, a former prosecutor, was not working with or for Trump, from whom the National Archives had spent months trying to procure missing material. Mr. Trump thanked Hirschman for the discussion, but was non-committal about his plans for returning the documents, the people familiar with the conversation said. So, very important here. Hirschman, who was Trump's lawyer, he defended Trump, I think, in his first impeachment hearing, because remember, Trump was impeached twice. Hirschman directly warned him, you're going to have legal problems if you don't return this information. Whether he knew whether it was classified documents or not, he knew that Trump had a whole lot of documents at Mar-a-Lago, and he told Trump, you need to return them. The key here is, if this conversation happened in late 2021, Trump did return 15 boxes in January of this year. So it remains to be seen. Obviously, prosecutors would have to, get ironclad information when that conversation happened between Trump's former lawyer and Trump. But if it's within proximity to each other, clearly Trump took action to return classified materials based on warnings from his lawyer. That shows awareness and that shows intent, because he returned some of the documents, 15 boxes, but certainly not all. So when you're going after most people for serious crimes, I mean, we have three different legal systems: one for rich white people who usually get off. Well, the second one's, typically for working class kind of white people, and the third one is for Black, brown, and indigenous people. But in general, when going after powerful people, intent is important, knowledge is important, motive is important. Well, this would indicate Trump was warned. He knew he wasn't supposed to have this information. And after he was warned, he literally handed back 15 boxes of documents, but kept other documents. So now let me show, this was actually for a change. MSNBC had a good segment on this. Let me show some top lawyers' response to this key detail, that Trump actually was warned that he had to return these documents.
In order to bring a criminal case, the key issue in any upcoming prosecution is, how is the government going to prove knowledge and intent of Donald Trump? And you could not ask for anything better than a lawyer meeting with the person you're thinking of indicting and telling the person, this is what the law is, this is why you have to do it. So having been a defense lawyer, this is like the world's worst news, is a witness who is a credible, upstanding lawyer with no baggage in terms of criminal exposure, saying that he had a conversation with your client advising exactly what the rules require. So the document issue, we're going to get through, and it's going to be an interesting sort of up and down, but that's not where the game is. Where there's real sort of advancement of the case is in the breaking story tonight in the New York Times about Eric Hirschman.
And Eric Hirschman was one of the defense counsel for Donald Trump in his first impeachment trial in the Senate. And Bradley Moss, when you hear what Eric Hirschman is saying tonight through the New York Times, the reporting indicates that Eric Hirschman didn't know what the documents were necessarily, and did not know what the classified documents were, or if there were classified documents there, but he did specify to Donald Trump if there are classified documents. So it seems to indicate that even according to Judge Cannon's order about what the FBI can and cannot do, even according to her order, the FBI could question Eric Hirschman tomorrow about what he told Donald Trump.
Yes, absolutely. Judge Cannon's, her revised ruling, the one she issued after the government tried to get her to reverse or reconsider her original ruling, did give them that wiggle room. As far as I'm concerned, they have the ability to go speak with Eric Hirschman tonight, tomorrow, whenever they want, to get some more details, as long as they don't go into the substance of those 100 classified records that were seized. But to follow up a bit on Andrew's point, this is painting the picture the government almost certainly will utilize if it brings an indictment, because it's not just Eric Hirschman. It's Pat Cipollone, it's Patrick Philbin. All these different lawyers were telling Donald Trump towards the end of his presidency, after he left the presidency, was being contacted by Nora. These are not your records. They're presidential records. They go back to the archives. You need to turn everything over. It frames it out in the context of intent and the willful retention of these documents and his refusal, his obstruction of the efforts by the government to recover them that transpired in June and then ultimately led to the search warrant in August. If there's an indictment, this will be part and parcel of the narrative outlined in that indictment.
Yeah, pains me to have to show MSNBC clips, but they're right. Trump, obviously Trump's defense from the beginning, or if you want to call it a defense, was just let me just throw shit at a wall, see what sticks. I thought he was just going to say, it was the movers. I don't know what they took from the White House. I didn't tell them to take these things. I didn't look in the boxes. I didn't move anything. It was the gardener. It was the pool cleaner. But when you have evidence that Trump was directly warned that you're going to have some legal problems if you don't return this stuff, and then soon after he had that warning or was given that warning, he started to return some of the documents, that's a cause and effect. Well, clearly he knew he had to return the documents, and then you get to, then you're willfully hiding information from the government because you returned 15 boxes, but you kept hundreds of other classified documents that you gave back, some of them in June. Remember, he gave 15 boxes in June. There was classified documents in them. Not June, January, he gave 15 boxes. There were classified documents in them. June, they give back some more. And then his lawyer certifies in writing that this is it. We've given you back everything. Clearly, the DOJ and the FBI were tipped off, probably by people in Trump's orbit, after that June certification. Well, no, he hasn't given everything back. There's more. Look here, here, and here. And that precipitated the raid. So I think Trump's in trouble. I really do. I don't really know what defense he could have at this point. The declassification, if that is the defense, that I declassified all this. I mean, again, if you listen to legal experts, even if all of this was declassified, that does not absolve him of the obstruction part of this. Secondly, his lawyers certified that they had given everything back. So that's lying to the government. C, they moved documents because they told the DOJ and the FBI everything was in one central location, this storage area that they wouldn't actually let the FBI and DOJ look through. But they found documents, classified documents in his desk, in his office. They found classified documents throughout his office. They found classified documents in the bedroom. So clearly there were multiple lies, and possibly this information was repeatedly moved. On the point about him being warned, I want to show this tweet from Ryan Goodman. He's a former special counsel with the Defense Department. Key, and I mean key, to Espionage Act offense that Justice Department cited in Mar-a-Lago search warrant is if Trump willfully retained national defense information. This gets prosecutors a long way there. And he's referencing the article about Trump receiving warnings that he was going to have legal problems if he didn't return these documents. If you go on in that thread, in late 2021, former Trump White House lawyer and former prosecutor Eric Hirschman, quote, sought to impress upon Mr. Trump the seriousness of the issue and the potential for investigations and legal exposure if he did not return the documents, particularly any classified material. Hirschman directly warned Trump that he could, quote, face legal liability if he did not return government materials he had taken with him when he left office. Mr. Trump thanked Hirschman for the discussion, but was non-committal about his plans for returning the documents. Well, he did return some of them soon after. Plus, Hirschman would make for a powerful prosecution witness. His testimony before the January 6th committee is candid, credible, and devastating. New York Times also appears to have at least 3 sources, aka possible corroborating witness for this report. Plus, Hirschman appears to take no bull from Trump's group of attorneys, and he links to a previous New York Times article. Now, again, as I want to be consistent here, you always have to be careful with sources. Don't just take whatever the New York Times, the Washington Post, certainly not the FBI, the CIA feed you, because the government lies. all this time. The government has the CIA. I mean, they are in existence to lie. But why I feel confident about the sources based on the New York Times report is it's been consistent in all the stories that have come out since the Mar-a-Lago raid. Clearly, the DOJ, the FBI, or people in Trump's world have been leaking to both the New York Times, the Washington Post. There's been clear leaks because this is the only way the Washington Post could have got the information that they found documents pertaining to nuclear programs of foreign countries and other information. There's no way they could have got that information unless it was coming from one of the agencies and people from those agencies. When you have the New York Times report about the warnings that Trump's lawyer gave, that could be coming from the lawyer who gave the warnings. That could be coming from the January 6th committee, who this lawyer had testified in front of. So Trump is being investigated in 4 or 5 different venues. The Southern District of New York, the New York Attorney General is investigating him. Georgia County prosecutor is investigating him for his infamous "find me 11,000 votes." The DOJ is investigating him over January 6th. And obviously the DOJ is investigating him over the classified documents situation. And a lot of these things intertwine. It's possible that the January 6th investigation and these classified documents that were at Maralago, it's not definite, just possible there's some connections there. But as far as the Espionage Act, which, by the way, has been abused and overused, and people like Julian Assange are being railroaded through a completely insane and absurd use of the Espionage Act. But to the letter of the law for the Espionage Act, you got, if you could prove, and this lawyer is willing to testify that he warned Trump, and then you have Trump returning the documents right after that warning, I mean, I don't know what more you would need legally. Obviously Trump's whole game here has been delay. And this special master is not giving him what he wants. This special master is not giving him what he wants. He is saying we're going to try and have an expedited process here, and Trump's lawyers don't like it. And by the way, I don't know what's being said. For those critical of covering this or saying you're just looking for ratings by covering Trump, well, first of all, if I just wanted ratings and if I just wanted clicks, trust me, I would have been covering Trump 24/7 for the last 5 years. I did not do that because I didn't think I had anything to add, really, that wasn't being covered 24/7 by the corporate media. So we don't really cover Trump 24/7 here, but I don't know, call me old fashioned. I kind of think when the last president who tried to overturn the election and incited his supporters to storm the Capitol to overturn the election results, who might be the next president, is when his compound is raided and they find hundreds of classified documents that we have no idea why he had them there, what he was doing with them, when it comes out that he lied to the government about having them or not having them. I kind of think that's a relevant news story. So if you don't have to watch. If you're a Trumpy and you think, oh, this was all planted, this is the deep state going after him, probably not the channel for you. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of Trump stories over the years that I did not cover because I thought most media was just going for the clicks, and I didn't want to do this. This is a legitimate story, a really important story, by the way, too, because at the end of the day, this is not just about Trump. I think part of Trump's legacy, not in a good way, will be the normalizing of really, really abnormal things. Let me repeat. I think part of Trump's legacy will be he normalized behavior, he normalized actions, he normalized hatred that should not be normalized, whether it be racism, whether it be Islamophobia, xenophobia, misogyny, and downright just illegal things. So to me, to the people saying, why are you covering this? I would love to know what they would be saying if any classified information was found in Barack Obama's office when he left the presidency. I'd love to hear if they'd be arguing you shouldn't be covering this. Or, oh, you're just doing it for clicks. Could you imagine if Barack Obama took classified information, what certain channels and Fox News would be doing? Oh my God. They'd be calling for him life imprisonment, solitary confinement. Some might be calling for worse. So yeah, I make no apologies. We're going to continue covering this. And by the way, watch this channel. We cover a lot of other things, including the railroad workers, which we've been on for a while, which, by the way, there's still a chance at a strike. We're the only ones that I know of still covering the Jackson water crisis. That still is a crisis. We're the only ones that I know of still covering the Flint water crisis and cover-up, which I'm, by the way, in the process of working on a book for. So go piss off if you don't like it. Now, I want to show some other tweets about that. This is from Lawrence Tribe responding to Ryan Goodman, basically that this story about Trump getting a warning gives the government what they need to go after Trump for the Espionage Act. Lawrence Tribe writes, exactly right. An Espionage Act indictment of Trump not long after the midterm seems all but inevitable. You also have Andrew Weissman responding. He's a former DOJ lawyer for 20 years. Key to providing Trump mens rea, the criminal intent necessary for a criminal charge, that he knowingly and intentionally took or retained government property and similar charges. So, this story that Trump was warned might end up being the critical factor that actually, I think he's going to be prosecuted, period. But this might actually be the factor that actually lead to, I don't know. We do live in the United Corporations of America. I don't want to say that I think Trump would be convicted because, there's not a long list of powerful white men who have actually been convicted and face real prison time. If Donald Trump is prosecuted, I could see some kind of deal where he doesn't run. He's forbidden from running for office again and serve some kind of probation rather than jail time. Or this is Donald Trump. Who the hell knows? Also, we have to realize there might be more information we still don't know. There is an ongoing investigation going on into exactly what Trump was doing with these documents, why he lied about giving them back, who had access to these documents, who was coming and going in Mar-a-Lago. So there's information we don't know. It could be worse than we actually know. So we'll see what happens. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to show. Let's show this one. Andrew Weissman again. Trump team is ruining the day. It proposed Judge Dearie and appalled he is asking for their position on declassification. As sure as the night follows the day, next Trump tactic will be denigrating Dearie publicly and asking Cannon to clip his wings. So we know, obviously, Trump did that with Mueller when he was being investigated over Russia. I thought that investigation was mostly a lot of bullshit. I never saw any evidence that Trump colluded with the Russian government. I was on the road covering Trump in 2016. His campaign could barely start an event on time or do much of anything in an organized fashion, much less collude with Russia. But what's important here is Trump is kind of flailing. It seems that they can't settle on a defense because there really is no actual defense for keeping these documents, for lying about these documents. And honestly, I'm pretty confident his lawyers right now that have criminal liability, particularly Christina Bobb, who is the attorney. She's been on Newsmax and Fox representing him. She's in deep legal shit herself. And I can very much see her turning on Trump and throwing him under the bus because she put in writing. She certified in writing. She certified in writing that they had returned everything. So if she's facing prison time, I don't know. You really want to go to prison for Donald Trump? I mean, some people have. I don't know why this lawyer would want to. So there's a lot of remaining questions to be had. But all of this comes in the bigger picture. Trump right now, to me, is actively stoking his base to be more paranoid, actively stoking his base to potentially be violent. And honestly, I think he's stoking his base, if he's indicted, to fight back, literally fight back. If you didn't see this yesterday, I want to show this because it's really just freaky. I've covered between 2016 and 2020, probably about, I don't know, 50 to 60 Trump rallies and events. A lot of them were wacky. He said a lot of crazy things at them. His base, not all of his supporters, but in a lot of cases, his supporters at these rallies were pouncing like hyenas at some of the things he said. They loved the lock her up stuff. They loved the, fight back, knock them in the punch, knock them out. I'll pay for your legal bills. But what was happening at this rally in Youngstown, Ohio, was really, really unsettling and freaky. Colin, if you have that footage, let's play it again.
It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country, and it is hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. We will stand up to the radical left lunatics and rhinos, and we will fight for America like no one has ever fought before. There is no mountain we cannot climb. There is no summit we cannot reach. There is no challenge we cannot meet. There is no victory we cannot have. We will not bend. We will not break. We will not yield. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never, ever, ever, ever back down. As long as we are confident and united, the tyrants we are fighting do not stand even a small chance of victory. Because we are Americans, and Americans kneel to God and to God alone. My fellow citizens, this incredible journey we're on together has only just begun, and it is time to start talking about greatness for our country again. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious American nation. So with the help of everyone here today and citizens all across our land, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Ohio. God bless you. Thank you, Ohio.
So there's been a lot of different reports. The Business Insider came out saying that the music was connected to QAnon. If you notice, his people had their finger in the air. I don't know what that was about. It's a little freaky. It's a little freaky. You kind of get like a weird like cult / Christian fundamentalist thing going on. There's been music at Trump events that I covered, but not like weird, like Undertaker sounding music during his riffs. And on his Truth Social platform, he has, in previous weeks, put up images of "The storm is coming," which is kind of language that QAnon uses. There's been conflicting reports that Trump's just doing it because he finds it funny and he wants to freak out the libs. But if you know anything about QAnon, they're taking it as Trump is with them and Trump is signaling to them, which Tina Desiree Berg is going to talk about on her show on Thursday. So all of this is happening as Trump is, to me, not even winking and nodding anymore, just straight up signaling to violent conspiracy movements. Hey, get ready. They're going to come after me, and we need to be ready. It's pretty scary. It's pretty scary. This doesn't mean, ignore the Democratic Party corruption. This doesn't mean vote blue no matter who. I say vote for whoever you want. I mean, it's not my job as a journalist to tell you who to vote for. But I think it's irresponsible if you were a journalist to ignore growing white supremacy in this country, growing violent conspiracy movements, which have been growing for a while, and frankly, growing violence. And Trump has said, there's been clips of him recently, basically saying, I think bad things are going to happen. Bad things are going to happen if they come after me. Let me find that, actually. Trump. Bad things are going to happen. Hold on. Gotta love trying to find stuff on the fly. Trump. Bad things will happen. Colin, see if you could find that. Trump saying bad things will happen if I'm indicted. I want to play the clip, but I can't find it. So yeah, I think he's going to be indicted. I almost guaranteed it will be after the midterms. They're not going to do anything before the midterms. Then if he's prosecuted, who knows how long it could be drawn out. But I believe right now is kind of that calm before the storm as far as potential violence, because I think that is what Trump is stoking. And if you listen to him, if you really listen to him, and you look at these rallies where he's playing like weird Undertaker QAnon sounding music, and his supporters have fingers in the air, it's really strange, and it has tinges of authoritarianism and fascism. Let's play it if you have it.
You know the old saying, a prosecutor can indict a ham sandwich if they want to. I'm just asking, if there is such a prosecutor and they indict you, would that deter you from running for president again?
I don't think the people of the United States would stand for it. And as you know, if a thing like that happened, I would have no prohibition against running. You know that. You've already.
I do. And that's what I want people to understand. That would not take you out of the arena.
It would not. But I think if it happened, I think you'd have problems in this country, the likes of which perhaps we've never seen before. I don't think the people of the United States would stand for it.
So that's what I'm talking about. I mean, very clearly what he's doing. It's very clear that he's signaling to his base. Remember when he debated Biden in 2020 with the Proud Boys? What did he say? Stay back, Proud Boys, stand back. But he told the Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. When he's putting up QAnon memes, the storm is coming. When he's saying we're going to have big problems, the likes of which we've never seen. I mean, I'm not casting a blanket on all Trump supporters. I've met plenty of Trump supporters who are very nice people. Whatever, they like him for certain things, tax cuts or the border or whatever. They're not bad people. But there's a lot of Trump people that have animosity and violent tendencies. And I've met those people too. There's a lot of militia men and women that are supporters of Donald Trump. There's a lot of people in the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers and the 3%ers and a lot of these white supremacy groups that are Trump supporters, many of whom were at the Capitol on January 6th. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let me read some super chats. It is my birthday, so appreciate those birthday wishes and super chats. Nancy, $9.99. Happy birthday, Jordan. Thank you for all that you do. Appreciate it, Nancy. Momo, $5. Happy birthday. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Appreciate that. Tiger, $1.99. Happy birthday, Jordan. Keep up the fight. I appreciate it. Jean Genevieve, 1999. Happy birthday. Thank you, Jean. I appreciate that. Cultured Boar, $4.99. Thank you. Nancy Bernard, more birthday love from San Francisco, from one of your biggest progressive boomer fans, following you since the Young Turks days. Why, thank you, Nancy. I hope you're doing well over there in San Francisco. Chris Garrett, $10. Happy birthday to Jordan. And when should we consider Status Coup's birthday? Many people might not realize that Status Coup is already somewhere around 5 to 6 years old. We started in 2018, so that's 19, 20, 21, yeah, about 4 years old. I put it at about April or May. We started in 2018. So, yeah, next year we'll be celebrating 5 years of the coup. Jeez, we'll have to do something big for that. And thank you, Chris. You've been with us from day one. Das Postfleisch, €4.99. If the purpose was to leak super top secret information on how to construct nukes to the Saudis, then I would call this high treason. I honestly don't know what Trump's motivation was, but I would not put it past Donald Trump. Donald Trump has no long-term strategy. He never has. It's always what's in front of me. And what's in front of Donald Trump is 4 or 5 different investigations in 4 or 5 different venues. So Donald Trump, knowing who he is and the morality or lack thereof, would you put it past Donald Trump to say, hey, if the DOJ is going to prosecute me for something with January 6th, or the New York Attorney General is going to prosecute me for something related to my business or charities, if the Georgia prosecutor is going to go after me for the perfect phone call where I'm asking for 11,000 votes, or name your area that's going to prosecute him for whatever, would you put it past Donald Trump to leverage? Well, you know, I happen to have some information that's not going to be so good for the United States if it gets out. I don't want to do anything with it. I'd love to give it back to the government, but you know, would you put it past Donald Trump to use that as leverage? I wouldn't. So we'll see. Barbara, $20. Thank you so much, Barbara. Canvas Dancer, $4.99. Happy birthday, Jordan. Many more. And by the way, those folks were holding up the wrong finger. I love that. Always clever, Canvas Dancer. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super chats. I really appreciate them. This remains to be seen. But listen, of all the Trump stories, this is a Trump story that needs to be covered. I hope more left media covers it, because this is not about like Trump derangement syndrome. This is not about, getting clicks. If Donald Trump is not held accountable, and he's never been held accountable really for anything, if he's not held accountable for jacking God knows how many classified documents, doing God knows what with them, then who will be held accountable in the United Corporations of America? I've always said I stay on the Flint water crisis, and I continue to report on the Flint water crisis and cover up, because if those who poisoned a city and then left Flint to die get away with it, well, that's the playbook for other politicians in other cities and states. They don't have to hesitate when they try to privatize your water or make money off of you, whether it's the water or other services. Hey, the governor of Michigan got away with it. Hey, the other politicians who screwed Flint, poisoned them, the banks that issued the bonds that led to the Flint water crisis, they got away with it. When powerful people are never held accountable for crimes, it just allows even more crimes. Now, that's not to say there's a whole lot of crimes that happen in America every single day that are prosecuted that should not be prosecuted, particularly nonviolent crimes, drug crimes, this and that. So the legal system in this country, I'm not a big fan of. I call it the Department of Injustice. The Department of Justice did not go after the cop who strangled Eric Garner to death. Remember that? The DOJ right now is going after Julian Assange, which I think is absurd and criminal. He is a political prisoner in the United Kingdom. But make no mistake about it. If the United States government allows Donald Trump to basically jack classified documents, do whatever he did with them, lie to the DOJ and the FBI, then there is no actual rule of law. There is none. By the way, I want to show this terrific gift my wife got me. For those of you that are unfamiliar, Right now, there is a major water problem at the Jacob Riis houses in New York City on the Lower East Side. Jacob Riis was just incredible photographer, journalist in the 20th century. And he took stunning photos, basically on how the other half lived in New York City. He took incredible photos, really made you feel like you were there, of poverty, of, working class people, of immigrants, of alleyways in New York City. He really showed how it was already a gilded age in New York City in the 20th century. He was also a fierce champion of minorities, poor people, the working class. He fought for clean water in New York City. He fought for immigrants that came to New York City. So my wife got me this wonderful photo book, which I am going to be reading over some whiskey later on my birthday. But right now at the Jacob Riis house, we've been covering it, so you can watch those videos on this channel. They found arsenic in the water at the Jacob Riis houses. Who lives at the Jacob Riis houses? Low-income Black people, low-income Hispanic people. They found arsenic in the water, and they didn't tell the residents for 2 weeks after they knew there was arsenic in the water. And oh, by the way, then Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, comes in and says, oh, just kidding. It was a testing error at the lab. There's no arsenic in the water. Meanwhile, residents at this apartment complex named after Jacob Riis are saying our water has smelled bad for months. Some residents have been getting discolored brown water, but yeah, your water's fine. And Eric Adams, copying from Barack Obama, drinking his glass of water in Flint, Eric Adams gulped a whole glass of water at this complex. I'm not actually sure it was water that came from this complex, but anyway, that's going on. So we cover a lot of issues, not just Trump. Water. I just did an interview with an activist down in Jackson, Mississippi. There's still a water crisis. We also have Spencer Snyder. He's an independent journalist. He's been doing a great series for us called Breaking News, emphasis on breaking, all caps on the break, because the country and the media is broken. So he did a great video for us yesterday on the incredible gap in news coverage, the 24/7 coverage from the media on Queen Elizabeth's death compared to virtually nothing on the Jackson water crisis anymore. So that video is up. So we got a lot of great content up. I'll be live again a little bit later at 5 o'clock Eastern. Definitely, if you can, Jordan, if you ask me, Jordan, what do you want for your birthday? Sign up as a Status Coup member. Sign up as a Status Coup member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. StatusCoup.com/join. You can become a Status Coup member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. This is how we grow. This is how we fund our on-the-ground reporting. I'm still in touch with railroad workers to see if there is going to be a railroad strike. If there is a railroad strike, we're going to be there. We're going to be there on the ground, come hell or high water. Obviously, we cover a lot of other stories on the ground, but it costs money, and we can't continue to cover things on the ground if we're not growing. So if you haven't signed up yet, StatusCoup.com/join. You can become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. As humbly as I could say it, I don't see a lot of other outlets on the ground, independent outlets on the ground, covering the stories that the corporate media covers up. Let me repeat, covering the stories that the corporate media covers up. So on my birthday, StatusCoup.com/join. Become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Makes a big difference. I think I got
have a couple more super chats.
Couple more super chats. Jake, $4.99. Happy birthday. Really love your work. But you also do work on why the Republican Party is so dangerous. Yes, call me old-fashioned. I think you could walk and chew gum at the same time. So as opposed to some YouTube leftists, let me repeat, some YouTube leftists who seem to think the greatest threat to democracy is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her magazine covers, which I'm not a big fan of, but never seem to take the time to cover, I don't know, the exploding white supremacy threat in this country, the exploding violent conspiracy movements in this country, growing political violence, we don't need to focus on that. Oh, we don't actually need to focus on the fact that Republicans are trying to basically bring us back to the medieval times as far as female reproductive rights. Oh, we don't even need to cover the fact that literally Ron DeSantis and the Texas governor are literally human trafficking right now, migrants, to own the libs on Martha's Vineyard, which now there's a criminal investigation that's been opened against Ron DeSantis for his stunt, sending the migrants from Venezuela, bringing them from Texas to Martha's Vineyard to own the libs and make their point on the backs of human beings and children, too, who were part of that caravan of 50 migrants. So we cover Democratic Party corruption. We'll continue to cover Democratic Party corruption. I'm not team blue or team red. I'm team you. I am against what I call the United Corporations of America. So we're not here to boost for the Democrats or the Republicans, and we're not going to ignore one side to go for clicks, because it is very profitable. It's very profitable on YouTube. There is a market for only focusing on the Democrats, for only focusing on the squad and, bashing the squad and progressives, for wink, wink, playing to the right wing. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I call out corruption wherever it is, coming from the Democrats or the Republicans. I call out white supremacy wherever it is. And by the way, there's plenty of white supremacy that comes from the Democratic Party too. I call out injustice wherever it comes from. And there's plenty of injustice, and it's rubber stamped by both the Democrats and the Republicans. So, yeah. Thank you, Jake. I'm not going to ignore the Republican Party and how dangerous it is. Natty and Daddy Show, $2. Happy birthday, bro. Been down since Standing Rock. Appreciate that. I really appreciate the kind words. Shui, $10. Thank you, Shui. Really appreciate it. That's all I got for now. We'll be back again a little bit later, 5 o'clock Eastern. And again, if it's within your means, if it's not, I completely understand. But if it's within your means, the best birthday present you could give me and Status Coup is signing up as a Status Coup member. StatusCoup.com/join. As humbly as I could say that, we have built this over 4 years from the ground up. We had a small investor in the beginning. It was $50,000. It was from a viewer, actually, in the Midwest. Invested with us in the beginning, 50 grand. And you want to know how long it took to spend that 50 grand? Right away. We had to get equipment, and at the time, bringing on Ty, who was our cameraman at first. So that money went in and out very quickly for those first one-time expenses to build Status Coup. After that, it's been you and GoFundMe. The only way that you could truly build an independent outlet, particularly in this era of digital suppression, where YouTube is suppressing us, Twitter is suppressing us, Facebook, forget it, has been hiding us, is through membership. Because that way, not that it doesn't matter, but even if we are buried on YouTube, as long as we have stable revenue coming in from our paying members, we have the funds to do the on-the-ground reporting and expand. If you haven't noticed, we are expanding here. Colin, if you could show the schedule, it's not just me and my ugly face anymore. It's me and Steve Grumbine today, although Steve's not in today. He's got something going on. Tomorrow is Kim Brown, who hosts Wednesdays at 5 o'clock Eastern. Then on Thursdays, we have Ron and Tina co-hosting at 5 o'clock Eastern, followed by Tina's Right Wing Insanity Report. Fridays, you got me again. Sundays, we air Let's Get Ready to Grumble with Steve Grumbine, which, damn, has that been entertaining. His wig, his accent, it's been fantastic. As well as our weekly series with Spencer Snyder. And this schedule will be changing as we head into November when I take some time off. So definitely support us if you can. Very much appreciate it. With that said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you a little bit later today.